I think as we approach 2025, a lot more people are wanting to lock in and, get in shape this year and, get leaner and that sort of thing. And I'm no different, to be completely honest. My name is Keegan, and I'm a ketogenic athlete, and I'm trying to get into shape for the 2025 spring track season. And so, as a runner, I'd like to cut some weight, lose some fat, not just to get like faster, but also just to be more lean and more aesthetic, just as like a personal goal, basically. And I think a lot of people also share that goal. But the way I'm doing it is a little bit different than the way I used to do in the past. Like now I'm on a keto diet. I used to eat a lot of carbs and whatnot, but I think that the carbs were sort of a problem for me. And so today I just want to share with you how I'm getting lean on a keto diet because I think it has helped me achieve a lot of progress, getting leaner, not overeating, not getting fatter, and it's made me feel a lot better. And I think there's a lot of potential for it. So I just want to share that process with you today. So if you find this video valuable, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and did all the YouTube stuff, but if you find it valuable, of course. So let's get into the video. So let me explain why I think keto will help me get lean. So keto, if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. Just kidding, I'll explain it. So keto is basically a low carbohydrate diet. So you don't eat stuff like bread, pasta, sugar, fruits. You don't eat a lot of like carby things like potatoes or vegetables or anything like that. You don't really eat a ton of those things, and you instead opt for a higher protein, a higher fat diet. So you tend to have a lot more meats, a lot more eggs. Some people do nuts and like low carb vegetables like greens and whatnot. The way I do it is I do a ketogenic carnivore diet. So basically, like I don't have any plants whatsoever. I just have like meat, basically. I basically just eat meat with some eggs every once in a while. And I think the point you want to get to in a keto diet is to where you're I think 20 carbohydrates, and then you start producing this thing called ketones, and they're basically like a separate energy source from your body, from what I understand, that are made from fat. And the idea behind a ketogenic diet is like since you're burning more fat, you're gonna lose more fat. But honestly, for me, I found it just because it helps with your satiety so much, you're not really overeating in all honesty. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is on this keto diet, it just helps me not overeat food. Because that was a big problem I had whenever I was eating carbohydrates all the time is I would eat some fruit, for example, right? Like I would cut up this pineapple and try like even though I'm on a keto diet, trust me when I say I still like fruit. I still think it probably tastes good, even though I've been on a keto diet for like 7 months now, right? I know it tastes good because it's sugar. In my opinion, I think sugar is like kind of like a drug, basically, because it lights up like the dopamine centers in your brain. That point aside, though, whenever I would cut up something like a pineapple, I think there's a video on my channel where I was actually like cutting up a pineapple back when I was eating fruit. But I remember I ate that whole pineapple and I felt sick afterwards because I had one piece and another and another and another, and it just kept going. I just couldn't stop myself, even though I felt full in my stomach. My brain was telling me like more, have more, and sure, it is kind of a battle of willpower and discipline. Like, okay, maybe I should stop, but I think you can tell at some point that there's something wrong with that system of eating whenever you just can't stop. In this modern day of abundance, that system for just constantly eating isn't a good thing. Because maybe back in the day, whenever we had access to like some form of fruit and we could get energy from it, that'd be good because we could survive longer. We could gain a little bit of fat, stay alive longer. But nowadays, we live in a time of abundance where it's super easy to overeat food because there's so much food around us. Like, we're now at a point where I think the stat was like, now we have more people dying from overeating than starving. That's crazy. That's nuts. But that's just the world we live in nowadays, right? It's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time from just a modern world of abundance. And so, like, these ancient systems in our brain telling us, like, you need, like, if you eat carbs, like, you should have more and more and more, right? I just don't think that's good, especially if you want to get lean. And so that's the main reason why. It's just the overeating aspect of stuff. I find it's just so hard to overeat like meat. Like, yes, I can eat a lot, but I'm satisfied a lot quicker, and I don't feel like I'm starving like I used to whenever I was eating carbs. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, now I can go for a majority of the day and not eat anything, and then have like an okay meal, like have a decently sized meal before, like in the afternoon, and then be fine. My energy levels are rock solid, completely stable. I'm getting enough protein and fat in to, like, not starve myself. It's good. Life is good. And I don't feel hungry all the time. I don't have this like chronic need to snack, which I feel like I had this almost like compulsion to just keep eating food and graze all day whenever I was on a more carbohydrate rich diet. That's the biggest thing for keto for me, honestly. The next thing though about keto that I want to talk about is just kind of the way keto works is like, there's less carbohydrates. But the thing with carbohydrates, the thing that I've learned is that carbs, whenever you digest them, no matter what form they're in, unless you eat fiber, right? It all breaks down into sugar in your system. And whenever you increase your blood sugar, your pancreas secretes insulin. And insulin, it does a ton of things in your body, right? So you want it at like a consistent level so it doesn't affect things at a whack level. But whenever your blood sugar spikes, that's actually toxic to your body. That's why diabetics die, because they have poor, like, their insulin is not functioning in the way it needs to. That's why diabetics, at least type 1 diabetics, can struggle, is because I'm pretty sure type 1 diabetes is where your pancreas doesn't secrete any insulin. But type 2 is whenever your insulin just like doesn't work well with your cells. But the whole point is whenever your blood sugar gets too high, the actual like glucose molecules in your body, like, they'll start binding to crap and start like destroying the cells. They'll start damaging your body. And so that's why your insulin like spikes up along with the blood sugar to sequester it into your cells and to store it as fat. Because if you have too high of blood sugar for too long, you're going to die. And that's no bueno, because your body doesn't want to die. I'm pretty sure you don't want to die. I don't want to die either. But that's why your insulin goes up, right? But the thing with insulin is, along with its like 100 other functions, it also stores fat. And so if your insulin is like chronically high because you eat a ton of carbs, that's not really like conducive to losing fat, is it? Because you're just storing fat. So like it just doesn't work the same way. Like, the way I see it, it's just like they're competing systems. So if you have insulin high, you can't really like lose fat all too well. That being said, if you eat not enough food, you probably will lose weight. You probably will lose fat. But like, my problem with calories in, calories out is, like, we're not bomb calometers. We're not like like we're chemical machines, and different inputs will create different reactions in our bodies. But I do think monitoring the food that goes in will help you get leaner. And so that's my next point, is what you track is what you'll improve. So if you have the means, I don't, because I'm 17 and I don't I don't have like some ultra high paying job. I can't really get a DEXA scan every single month without going broke. I'd rather spend that money on food and whatnot, and food and gas and that sort of thing. But if you have the means to like go get a DEXA scan to scan your body fat percentage every single month, that's a good idea because like I said, what you measure is what you can improve. Like if you don't measure anything at all, how are you expected to improve it? How do you know that you've made progress on it, right? But a budget way that you can do it, and this is the way that I'm doing it, is I'm tracking my weight every single morning, right? So I bought a scale from Target for $20, right? And so every single morning I'll step on the scale and log the weight. And in the mirror, I'll take a mental picture. I probably should take like an actual progress picture of like how I look. Am I lean? Am I feeling good? Am I big? Am I swole? That sort of thing. And it'll be a little bit more subjective, but the weights will give me a more objective measure of data. And so as long as I'm not like, you know, like plummeting in weight and I'm just kind of like in a slow decline and I'm making sure like I'm not losing any muscle anywhere to a super rapid pace, then I'll know I'm on track. So that's how I would go about it. It's just like what you track, you can improve. And along with that, like I said, kind of monitoring what goes into your system. So the other thing that I do is I track like my food, right? And so this is kind of my problem with some of the advice in like the keto carnivore space is they'll tell you like, oh, you don't need to track your calories because calories don't matter whatsoever. And to be honest, I think like I said, calories in, calories out, kind of whack. However, I think it's still important to monitor the amount of food that's going into the system, the amount of mass that's going into the system versus the amount of mass that's going out of the system. All right, like you just being aware of that so you can pull it back maybe a little bit so you can get to the point that you want. I think that's an important variable to keep constant because if you're all over the place with your food intake, like it's a flawed experiment, if that makes sense. Like if the independent variable is going to be your food intake, right? Then you need to make sure that it's a controlled and consistent intake. Sure, like it can be different, right? But if you want the experiment to go well and you want the experiment and the results that you want, you're going to have some level of consistency. Like you can't be all over the place. At least that's the way I see it. And I think it's important for me personally just to be aware of that because whenever I don't track food, I tend to probably eat more than I should. And so I'll just maintain the weight that I have and I won't, make like any progress whatsoever, which isn't a terrible thing because I'm not getting fatter or anything like that. But it's just, if I want to get leaner, I need to be aware of it and just kind of pull back the food just a little bit or up the exercise just a little bit. But I already have kind of a plan for exercise. So that's kind of like a control variable and the food is the thing that I'm going to like alter a little bit here and there. That's the way I see it anyways. You don't have to if you don't want to. I think if you kind of just follow a baseline of, don't go ham on the food and then maybe just eat within like a short window of eating, you're probably going to lose weight. But it depends for everyone. Like it depends on how much you weigh, your hunger signals, how long you've been on like a keto diet. Like there's lots of aspects that go into it. So I would just say like if you want to get lean, I would say just like monitor your food intake. That's the way I see it anyways. Overall, I would say the process is just kind of similar to how you go about it on on like any regular diet, but I think a keto diet just makes it so much easier for this process. And that's why I'm talking about this specifically on how I'm getting lean through a keto diet. It's just like it makes it so much easier, right? Like I've been making progress these past few weeks, past few days, and it's the easiest thing ever. Like I don't feel starved. My energy is really good. it feels great. And I hear these people all the time whenever they're on like a cut or something like that, that they feel low energy, they feel tired, low libido, like oh, blah, like getting lean sucks. But like honestly, I feel great. I'm getting faster, I'm getting more athletic. I feel really, really good. And I think it's because I'm not like starving myself of nutrients. I'm eating very nutrient dense foods. I'm still, I'm still I'm not in like a crazy calorie deficit. I don't even know what the calorie deficit would be because I'm running a lot per day. So honestly, like I'm just like balling out right now. And I think if other people were to kind of hop onto this sort of diet, I think it'd be great because then I have more people to relate to. And they'd feel better throughout their lives. And I just think that's so valuable because again with like the aesthetics and stuff, it's good for your like mental image just to be like, oh yeah, like I'm lean, I'm jacked, haha, yeah, that sort of thing. But I think keto just it kind of allows you a lot of other things in life. Stable energy. It makes you just like you just have this mental clarity. It's awesome, and I want to share that with the world, and that's why I'm talking about it in a positive light. So I hope that you found this video at least somewhat helpful, and maybe you'll consider hopping on the ketogenic diet because it's like I said, it just makes the process so much easier, in my opinion. If you don't, though, I completely understand. I'm in. I understand if you enjoy your carbs, but maybe you can still take away some things from this video as to how to get lean. Like the same principles still kind of apply of just like what you measure is what you can improve, and just making sure you're keeping track of progress just so you can, like improve and so you can make adjustments based on how you feel and the progress that you're making. So yeah, I hope this video has helped you out. If you found this video valuable, then I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, if you share this with your friends, watch all my other videos, watch every single one, do all the YouTube stuff and that sort of thing. But again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, bro. Be better and have a W day.